What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the FNG Academy. Buck here from Green Beret, here to help you guys get selected. Alright guys, in this video we're going to talk about self-doubt, what it's doing to your progression and how to overcome it. But first, I'm back from Utah, baby. Didn't go to Utah, but first, I'm back from Montana, baby. I'm super proud to announce our new show with Andy Stumpf and myself called Wine and Rations. In this new show, we're going to be taking military food and I'll be using my chef skills to plate that military food to include MREs as best as possible. And the self-proclaimed sommelier, Andy Stumpf, will be trying to pair that food with the perfect alcoholic beverage to make it palatable. Of course, he wanted to make all these beverages accessible, so most of them you could find at your local gas station. If you guys can imagine those pairings and how delectable they're going to be, you're going to love this show. It's packed full of dialogue from myself and Andy, and I think you guys are going to love it. I can't wait for it to drop. It should be dropping by the end of the month or the beginning of next month, and you guys are going to love it. It'll drop on my channel, probably Andy's, and hopefully lead to, you never know, an actual TV show, because I think it's going to be that good. So we're back from that. I just want to thank you guys for all your support while I was gone, liking the videos, commenting on the videos, despite the fact that I couldn't get to as many comments as I would have liked to because we were out filming. So we're back. Thanks for all you guys' support, and I truly appreciate you guys subscribing and hitting that like button and all the positivity that happens down in the comments below. We are building an amazing community. So let's talk about self-doubt. Is self-doubt bad for you? What is self-doubt? Do some people have it? Do some people not? Can you go special forces with having self-doubt? So in my opinion, self-doubt is not only normal, it's encouraged. If you have doubts about your ability to accomplish the task, you feel like you're on shaky ground and you're out of your element, maybe you're outside your league, you feel like you're college and you're playing with the major leagues, that is good. That means you're stepping outside your circle and you're pushing yourself beyond what you know you could achieve. I've always had self-doubt anytime I go into a new project. I doubt whether I'm good enough. I doubt whether I can make it happen. But this is how self-doubt works, to the point where it'll actually help you, and then to the point where it'll stop your progression dead in its tracks. So think of a injury. So you get an ankle injury or leg injury, and you go to the physical therapist and you say, hey, my ankle hurts. They're not just going to start addressing the ankle. They're going to start working back. Let's go up to the knee. Well, your knee has some issues. Let's go to your lower back. And you realize that there's like 3 different layers of issues that cause that ankle injury. It's the same thing with self-doubt. Self-doubt you may think is what's causing you to stop your progression, but in fact, it's not, in my opinion. Self-doubt leads to fear. So you doubt yourself because you're playing what you feel is beyond your league, which you should be. That's called growth. That's called progression. But the problem is when that self-doubt turns to fear, and then our fears do what our fears do. They turn a molehill into a mountain. That's fear's job, is to cause you to either prepare the fight or flight, prepare or run away or stop. So our fears are then turning something like let's use the example of high school. A little high school kid gets a pimple on their nose. Well, in their minds, in their fear, every single person in that entire school is staring at them. Everyone sees the pimple. Everyone's staring at it. They're embarrassing themselves. They need to run away and get the hell out of there right now. Their fears have exacerbated this pimple so dramatically that it's overwhelming them. When in reality, no one gives a shit about your pimple because they're too worried about their own damn pimples. So that's what our fears do. So we get self-doubt, which leads to fear. Our fear does its thing, and it takes little tiny possible realities like failure, getting injured. It turns them into these huge fears. Jordan Peterson would call it the monster, and you have to slay the monster because it's just going to keep growing and growing. That is where The achievers separate from the non-achievers. We all are going to have self-doubt. We're all going to generate some fears because that's just natural. It's so hard to avoid fear. Living fearlessly or ridding yourself of fear, I don't know how to do it. I've never been able to do it, and I wouldn't suggest it because I don't know how to accomplish that. So what I do is learn to use the fear, live with the fear. So self-doubt turns to fear. Our fears grow exponentially until the point where you're going to do either one of two things. You're going to prepare your ass off because your fear is selection is going to be so hard. It's for monsters. It's for the best of the best of the best. So I need to run faster, lift more, be more agile, stretch more, eat healthier. I have to do all those things 10 times more than I thought I had to because I am so afraid of how hard it's going to be. So you prepare your ass off. And I do that with speaking engagements, with anything I do, with my YouTube channel, with filming this new show. I prepared my ass off because I was afraid of failing. Versus the other camp, where they're going to let those fears compound. They're going to think that all this process is abnormal, and then they're going to stop. The fear is going to overwhelm their senses. It's going to overwhelm their anxiety. They're going to succumb to the fear. They're going to stop because they cannot possibly imagine facing those fears. They can't for a second understand that those fears are so exaggerated. Even if they were to happen, it would be so minuscule as compared to how their mind has expanded it. So they stop. And that is what separates an achiever from a non-achiever, a Green Beret from a non-Green Beret, a Ranger from a non-Ranger. For the person that wanted to go those paths and didn't make it. Now, obviously, not everyone wants to be special forces. I'm not saying you should. But regardless of what your career path is, you need to understand the process of self-doubt and how self-doubt becomes a motivator to kick everything's ass that you want to accomplish. If you don't understand the process, you will eventually succumb, like most do, to the overwhelming fear that comes from and starts with self-doubt. So you guys need to understand self-doubt is going to exist if you are pushing yourself. Isn't it funny? Your first job, you were scared. You doubted whether or not you could accomplish it. Let's say your first job that you cared about, because anyone could go into a job they don't care about, and there's no self-doubt, there's no fear, but we didn't get anything from it, right? But you go into the first job that you truly, truly care about. For me, it was being a Green Beret. Walking into that team room, I was full of self-doubt. I'll never forget the time I had to come up with part of a briefing that I was going to get briefed to a colonel. And instead of getting to sit back with the rest of the team, I was selected as certain members of the team that would brief the colonel on our mission planning. This was a training thing only, but it still stressed me out, and I doubted whether or not I could deliver a good briefing, being so new, having so little experience, and that fear drove me to prepare my ass off, and when I got that good brief nod from the colonel, it filled me with pride. So, anytime you're stepping out, there's going to be that self-doubt. You need to accept it, acknowledge it, and understand that that doubt will turn to fear. Your imagination will expand those fears beyond reality, and you will do one of two things: stop or train your ass off and hit that challenge head on. So that's my take on it. That's what you guys need to do. You're full of self-doubt because you don't know if you could be Green Berets. You don't know if you could be SEALs. If I were to sign up for Navy SEAL training right this minute, I would be full of self-doubt because I'd be scared shitless as to what that water and freezing water smacking me in the face is going to do. That is where you find the most growth. And you step out and you start to feel that discomfort, that self-doubt, that fear. That's when you know you're onto something. That's what I was saying. I got sidetracked. Isn't it funny, that first job, that first hard thing, it always becomes so natural once you get the hang of it. For me, is whether it's being law enforcement or special operations or filming this new show. All of a sudden, you do it a little bit, and now you own that territory. It's yours. You feel confident. That doesn't mean you just hold what you got. Now it's time to do it again. That's progression, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you do it. So get used to those feelings if you want to be an achiever in your life, and don't let them stop you from accomplishing your goals. You guys got this. I know you got it. You just needed someone to tell you what the process is like and how to cope. I hope that if we were to track it, people that watch these videos increase their chances for success in all aspects of life, because I'm using some hard lessons learned to help you guys crush your goals. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next video, and be sure to watch out for Wine and Rations. I think you guys are gonna love it. Talk to you next time.
And I can't see it clearly, but it's obvious. I know that you